Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Please feel free to write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding this video or any other video that I have posted in the past. If you have any videos that you would like me to make, please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. This is a great example of a request video. This video is requested by one of the viewer, and his name is Guy. He asked me whether I can put together a dish of a shrimp stir-fried dish with different kind of vegetables with a white sauce. In fact, I have been thinking about cooking a dish with shrimp, so this has turned out to be perfect. This dish uses shrimp and plus several other vegetables, but the most important ingredient for me is cashew. I love cashew. The first thing I do is that I took some large shrimp and I coated it with a thin layer of cornstarch. And I decided the vegetable that I'm going to use, the first one is some asparagus. I found some asparagus on sale. They were really in perfect shape. And here I want to tell you a little trick about asparagus is that you break the asparagus to the point that whether it will snap off easily, and you threw away the part below it, and you know the part above it will be perfect and they will not be too stringy. And then I cut them into thin sliver, and that will make them very nice. And so the end result is that I have this great asparagus which I can use for cooking any dish that I want. I put them in my advanced prepping. I usually divide them into a couple portions. And then I'm going to use some purple cabbage. I love cabbage, particularly I like them kind of partially cooked, give this a crispy texture. But one thing that is really great about purple cabbage is that they add beautiful color to the dish. And this is something that I find it is always good to have some purple cabbage on hand. And usually purple cabbage has excellent shelf life. You can store them for up to several weeks. And then I'm going to have some portobello mushroom. Again, I have mushroom available all the time in my advanced prepping. And tomatoes, these are the last bit of the garden tomatoes that from my wife's garden. And again, they add great color to the dish as well as add wonderful flavor. Okay, for making the white sauce, I need some cornstarch. Here I use 1 part of cornstarch to approximately 3 parts of water. I put them in a bottle so I can shake them up and mix them well easily. I'm going to cook this dish in my Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok. I'm going to heat up the wok, and I'm going to add approximately about 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Of course, you can use any cooking oil that you would like, as long as it has a relatively high smoking point. I'm going to season the dish, use my spot seasoning method. The method actually is relatively simple. Basically, I heat up the wok until it starts to smoke gently, and this is the time when the wok is being seasoned to create a non-stick cook surface. Okay, now I am ready to cook. I'm going to first add the shrimp to the wok. I'm going to use here approximately about 1 cup of shrimp. These are large shrimp, and I like this size. They are not too big, but they just about right for this kind of a dish. It's great fun to stir-fry shrimp because shrimp cook very fast in the wok, particularly when you have the wok at a high temperature. And it's actually important to have the oil temperature as high as possible. This will seal in the flavor of the shrimp. And also, having the shrimp cooked with cornstarch is a good way to keep the shrimp moist and tender inside, because the cornstarch will protect the shrimp from the high heat of the oil. But at the same time, the cornstarch will be slightly brown on the surface, give the shrimp a light crispy texture, but not too much. As you can see here, stir-fry the shrimp rapidly is important because this will allow you to cook the shrimp rapidly. And as you can see here, the shrimp cook very fast. It only takes about 30 to 60 seconds before the shrimp is ready. It depends on how much you want to cook the shrimp. Now, once the shrimp cooked to the point, I would say about 60 to 70% done, I add the asparagus to the wok. Now, adding the asparagus is important. So basically, is that by adding the asparagus, is able to stop the shrimp cooking, actually, because it lowers the temperature of the oil. And this is followed by adding the portobello mushroom. And then I stir fry everything together. This is a good time just to cook the shrimp slowly. The next is that I'm going to add some purple cabbage, and then I stir everything together. Now, all the ingredients in here now is going to cook very rapidly, so stirring them is really essential to make sure everything cooks as evenly as possible. Now, this method is excellent to control the texture of the shrimp because if you do not have these vegetables in the wok, the temperature will be very high and the shrimp will be easily overcooked. During stir frying, you want to use as little oil as possible. You probably notice that now at the bottom of the wok, there's hardly any oil at all. And so in this case, I just add a touch more of oil because mushrooms tend to absorb oil readily, and this will keep the oil and keep all the ingredients in such a way, and the oil will prevent the food from being burned. And one of the reasons I love stir frying is that everything can cook so rapidly, and by now the dish is almost done, and so the next step is I'm going to season the dish. I'm going to add some basic seasoning mix, which I have it available on the Amazon that you can give it a try. This actually will enhance the savoriness of the dish. It provides umami flavor for the dish. In some way, this is almost like you add chicken stock, but in my opinion, it's actually more savory, more flavorful than chicken stock. You can take a look at this video to learn about all the components in this seasoning mix so you can know what each one is intended for. I added about 2 tablespoons of Shaoxing cooking wine. I add them right toward the end because that will give the best flavor for the dish. Now the dish is done. The next step is for me to create the sauce. I'm going to pour the cornstarch water suspension directly into the wok. You notice that as soon as I pour it, the cornstarch start to thicken almost immediately. Obviously, it's much thicker than I would like it. So I'm going to add some water to it. Now, the cornstarch suspension actually is very forgiving. If it is too thick, by adding water, it will thin it out. It is better to make it thicker than thinner because in this case, you can always dilute it. As you can see, I continue to add more water to dilute the cornstarch. And now I'm going to making a sauce pretty much to the consistency that I want. At this point, I have turned the heat off. Now, if you use a gas stove, you want to turn it to low, but since I have an electric stove, because even I turn it off, the heat will continue, and therefore it is all right for me to turn it completely off. But if you use a gas stove, you might want to have some residual heat to make sure that you're going to make the sauce properly. As you can see, the sauce is still too thick, so I'm going to continue to dilute the sauce to the point where I want to. Now, this sauce is not as white as I would like it, partly because I added the Shaoxing wine. The Shaoxing wine has a dark brown color, so it gives the sauce a more of a dark brown color. And also other food ingredients such as the mushroom also create a more dark brown color. But you notice that I do not use any oyster sauce or hoisin sauce. So the flavor of this dish is really pretty much the flavor of the seasoning mix, as well as the flavor come from the food ingredients themselves. It gives a much cleaner flavor. A lot of people like this better. And I decided after taste test, I'm going to add a bit more salt to give the type of saltiness that I want to have in this dish. Again, you can make the sauce or as thin as thick as you would like to. Right now, I prefer a thicker sauce that will coat the food ingredients a little bit better than I would prefer. And then I'm going to add about maybe half cup of sliced tomatoes. Now, the appearance of the dish is very important. The tomato not only adds flavor, but it also really adds color to the dish. And this gives the dish a very attractive appearance. Of course, last but not the least is some cashew. I love cashew, and I probably can add cashew to almost any dish. But this particular dish, I really recommend the cashew because the cashew has a relatively sweet and mild flavor, and it matches perfectly with the shrimp and other vegetable ingredients in this dish. So with a few quick stir, the dish is done. As you notice that the cook time is only about 5 to 6 minutes. And this is what makes stir frying so exciting to me, and as well as so engaging, because everything happen right in front of your eyes. You make decision right at that moment. Decide how you want to stir the dish, how you want to season the dish, what type of seasoning you want to add them, what time do you add the different ingredients of the dish. All of this can be varied accordingly based on how you cook. And the end result is that small variations can lead to significant change in the flavor of the dish. And this provides an excellent opportunity. When you do stir fry, you can continue to improve the flavor of the dish, and you can make adjustments and make changes on the fly. And this is what I consider creativity. This will allow you to create a dish each time with a slight different emphasis to achieve the type of result that you are looking for. The most important characteristic of this dish is how the dish is being seasoned. It is seasoned using a white sauce, which means that I do not use any soy product, whether it's soy sauce, oyster sauce, or hoisin sauce. Instead of, I use the Wok with Tak basic seasoning mix. Other than that, the dish actually uses the same templates for stir-frying shrimp and for vegetables mix as well. Instead of using the vegetable that I have in the refrigerator, I probably could have used different vegetable if my advanced prepping is slightly different. So you can see the foundation of template-based cooking. Okay, I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine so that you can make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun. If you would like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, please email me at wokwithtak@gmail.com if you have any video that you would like me to make. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.